Well, maybe Chinmoy Prabhu, anything to suggest?
I mean, there's that question of the Shakta worshippers and stuff like that, but
oh yeah, we never got to that one. Yeah.
If you have something, oh, Chintamani's got a hand raised.
Okay.
Yeah, one friend of ours asked us, and I didn't know the answer, and I said I would ask you when I got a chance. They wanted to know if in Vaishnavism, Gaudiya Vaishnavism, if there is a similar thing, like in Buddhism, they have this concept of a bodhisattva who chooses to, come back or whatever. Is there a concept of that a Vaishnava in the Vaishnava lineage? Is there that type of concept of choosing to come back to serve or whatnot? I wish she was here. Let me message her to see if she can come on the Zoom and ask her question. But I thought maybe something you could say about this.
I came across one tape of Srila Sridhar Maharaj once, some years ago, where someone was asking about that. And it was actually really, really wonderful to hear how Srila Sridhar Maharaj discussed this. It was so liberating, because we, with our minds, we like to categorize things, right? And say, label things and categorize, and it's like this and it's like that, and this is how it works. But the way Srila Sridhar Maharaj talked about it, he talked about it like it's a family, like Krishna and his associates, they're a family. And just like in a family that we have, like if you're deciding if someone should go somewhere to do something, it would be like it could happen in different ways, right? It could be that it's suggested by the requested or suggested by the head of the family. Could be that an individual in the family says they need to do it, and like that. It's a dynamic thing, and that was the way Srila Sridhar Maharaj discussed it. I think the specific question that was being asked was about Srila Prabhupada, like if his disciples very earnestly wanted him in particular to come back. Because, the general idea, the general concept that we hear is that until the disciple is liberated, Guru will keep coming, right? But then we're told, well, it doesn't necessarily mean literally that particular individual, but Guru is really a principle, and that Guru is the connection with Krishna, and so that may be a different individual. But that same development towards that ideal that we're striving for, that thread will be continued. That particular conception and connection with Krishna will be continued, but it won't necessarily be that particular individual, right? That we're given that deeper explanation. But Srila Sridhar Maharaj said it may be possible, like if the disciples are very earnestly desiring, if there's like real heart necessity for that particular, guru, that particular person, then it may be so, they really want me, and we also hear the case of Bhakti Vinod Thakur, right? How he requested Krishna, please send one of your own people, right? And then we also hear sometimes that Saraswati Thakur came by the call of Bhakti Vinod Thakur, like it was a personal exchange between them, and that's mentioned in one song, that Acharya Vandana, Jaya Re Jaya, that in the penultimate verse. How does it go? Maybe Chinmoy or Govindan, do you remember that? Gurudev always quoted that. Thakur Bhakti Vinod. That's it. Shri Gauranga Parishad Thakur Bhakti Vinod begins like that. The penultimate verse, that the eternal associate of Mahaprabhu, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He brought you here. The song is a direct address to Srila Saraswati Thakur, saying that you came here by the request of Bhaktivinoda, you know. And we also hear Gurudev, Srila Sridhar Maharaj make this kind of expression, how Bhaktivinoda, how Saraswati Thakur came attracted by the melted heart, right? Gurudev used to use that expression, melted heart. And how Saraswati Thakur was attracted by he was pulled here by the melted heart of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So, you know, from what I can gather from Gurudev's comments, from Srila Sridhar Maharaj's comments, it's it's not like, categories and terms and etc. labels, but it's a dynamic thing. It can happen in many different ways. An individual may be inspired, oh, I want to go back and help these people. Krishna may request them. Another Vaishnava may request them. Just like in any dynamic relationship that we have, it's a living thing, and it may happen in different ways. They may be delegated, sent, ordered, or in a loving way, ordered by Krishna. They may have some inspiration or feel some pull, another Vaishnava. So that's what I've understood. I've never heard it spelled out, but that's what I've gathered. It may happen in different ways, and it is a particular inspiration, and I would think also that any soul any liberated soul that comes to do that work, to do that service, they have a particular nature, because it has to be a combination of things, right? They must have their own inner desire to do that also. So, that's how things run there. Everything's coming from, heart inspiration. Not like Srila Sridhar Maharaj has commented how Jashoda, she's not exactly a charja material. That's not her mood, No, that she's not someone who would play that role, So, it does require particular inspiration, and yeah, that individual inspiration must be there. Gurudev, he mentioned once also how actually in the spiritual world, it's not exactly that orders are given, but things are happening in an intuitive kind of way, even like we experience sometimes. If you have a close relationship with someone, what they need before they say it, or even before they know that they need it, because you have that kind of love, that link of love, so there's that sensitivity there. So Srila Gurudev mentioned that, there it's not exactly that people are giving direct orders, but they're happening in this intuitive, spontaneous kind of way. So yeah, bodhisattva, I've heard that term. I'm not so familiar with it, but the equivalent that we might have is jivan mukta. Jivan mukta means a liberated soul in this world. Someone who's, physically present in this world, but they are liberated, mukta, jivan mukta. So that might be what the term that, if we want terms, that may be probably the equivalent of that. Yeah. So I see we have a side question from Leela Madhuri. Chintamani, does that make sense? Okay, nodding their head. And Leela Madhuri says, I have a side question. Does Krishna pay attention to us generally? And should we talk directly to him or only Gurudev, I heard somewhere the safest way to approach Krishna is through the Maha Mantra. Yeah, I mean, all of these things are interconnected. No, it's true that, you know, what we need to ask first is, are we able to make a prayer that Krishna can hear? You know, that, I think that's more what we have to ask. Do we have the capacity to communicate, you know, with him? No. He only hear a particular vibration, you know. And it's mentioned in that song of Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Shadanga Shadanaga Srila Sridhar Maharaj has, you know, quoted this verse in particular, appreciates this verse. Shadanga Shadanagati Hoi Bijahar Tahara Partana Shune Srinanda Kumar. That this is the first song in the songbook Sharanagati by Bhakti Vinod Thakur that usually we sing every morning in our temples, and it's describing the 6 limbs of surrender. And then the conclusion of the song, Bhakti Vinod Thakur saying, one who can follow these 6 limbs of surrender, Tahara Prarthana Shune Shri Nanda Kumar. Nanda Kumar, Krishna, he can hear their prayers. So in other words, he only hears the prayers of the surrendered souls. No. So yes, we can say that it's true. We're not able to communicate directly with Krishna because we are in the state that we are. You know, we are in a conditioned state. You know, but then we cannot. Then let us think about this from another angle of vision. What does Krishna mean? You know, Krishna actually. One way you can consider this is that Krishna doesn't just mean Krishna. You know, Krishna means his paraphernalia also, you know, like Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he gave the example of a king, you know, like if you say, oh, the king's coming to visit, you know, it's, you know, like if you say, oh, my buddy's coming over to visit, it means your buddy's going over to visit. But if you say the president or the king is coming to visit, it means, what does it mean? It means they've got bodyguards, they've got chauffeur, they've got personal secretary, personal assistant, PR. There's a whole crew, right? Who's going to be coming. They don't go anywhere alone, you know? So the king also means his entourage. The queen means her entourage. It's assumed, it's applied, you know? So like in Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharmam Prityaja Mamekam Sharanambraja, right? This famous verse of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is saying, surrender unto me, but that's not exactly what he means, right? It means surrender to me through my devotees, you know? And so then what's the verse in Bhagavatam, or one of the verses, there are a couple that develops on from there, right? Look in the Ramananda Sambad, the famous discussion and recorded in Chaitanya Charitamrita between Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai. You know, Mahaprabhu rejects that verse, Sarva Dharmam Prityaja. Why? Because it's too vague, because the Vaishnava is not directly mentioned there. It's implied, but it's not directly stated. So then what's the verse that Mahaprabhu accepts as the starting point of pure devotion? Yane prayashamurupashya namanta eva jivanti sanmukaritam bhavadiya vartam, wherein the Vaishnava is mentioned, where it's Krishna is speaking, saying, surrender to my devotee. No. So that's a more developed understanding of what it means to connect with Krishna, to communicate with Krishna. You know, so sometimes, you know, in our prayers, you know, in some of the songs that we sing, you know, there are prayers mentioned directly to Krishna, but it's implied that you're addressing Krishna's family, you know, Guru, Vaishnava. You know, there's a group. It may not be that, you know, we've got the direct line, you know, directly to Krishna. You know, like if you're making let's think it like this: if you're making an appointment with a dentist or a doctor or something, you know, you actually call their secretary, right? But you'll tell people, yeah, I called the doctor. I made an appointment with the doctor. You know, it's implied that you didn't actually directly talk to the doctor, but the connection is there. You know, the link is there. And it's not that, you know, one way you can say, so there are different ways of looking at this, you know. You could say that, oh, it's because we are in a fallen position, you know, so we can't directly connect with Krishna. That is one point, you know, like Srila Sridhar Maharaj mentioned in one talk, like yesterday we were on the street, you know, yesterday we were in the gutter, and now how are we going to expect that we're going to have like a direct, intimate, personal relationship with Krishna? You know, that doesn't make much sense, you know. That's one point. But then another point also Srila Sridhar Maharaj made is that we are Shakti, right? Krishna is Shaktiman. We are Shakti. We are potency. We are energy. And you know, Krishna is the you know, Purush. He is the Shaktiman. He is the holder of energy. And so Srila Sridhar Maharaj said, naturally, we are more attracted to it. You know, it feels it's more comfortable for us to be in closer connection with the Mother Shakti. You know, so we congregate naturally with the Mother Shakti. You know, so with the leader Shakti, that means Guru. You know, and Radharani in the highest sense. So that, you know, that's more where we are disposed to be, you know, to have a closer connection with the devotee of Krishna. You know, that's more natural and comfortable for us. Another point that Srila Sridhar Maharaj has made is that the Jiva Shakti, right? We constitutionally, we are not equipped to have a direct relationship with Krishna. The one-on-one relationship with Jiva Shakti and Krishna, it doesn't work. Because we can't handle it. We can't handle that degree of intensity. We're constitutionally lacking. We're not, lacking, we don't need to use that word. It's just the way it is. That's how Krishna made us. You know? So it's like Srila Sridhar Maharaj gave the example of the sun, right? There are so many planets, they're situated in particular distance, right, from the sun. And only at a particular point, you know, like Earth, right? Earth is the life flourishes on Earth, you know, as long as we don't destroy it. You know, life flourishes on Earth. Why? Because it's at a particular point in you know, relative to the sun. If it's too far away from the sun, then it's, you know, it'll be too cold. You know, life can't grow. If you're too close to the sun, then you'll burn, right? So in the same way, you know, what kind of intensity does Krishna's beauty have? You know, Krishna's beauty, Krishna's charm is so intense that we can't handle it. You know, we cannot directly, you know, engage with that. So we will always be 3 or 4 times removed. You know, that's the closest that we can approach Krishna. No. But does that mean that we don't have a relationship with Krishna? Does that mean that we don't feel connected with Krishna, that there's some exchange? No, of course there is. There is some exchange going on, you know, but it's happening through, you know, through the connection, you know. through the connection with those who have, you know, the direct link. And there won't be the feeling that, oh, I'm missing out, you know, that won't be there. You know, we will be fully satisfied by that. So, you know, so what is the particular, you know, points that our gurus have highlighted, you know, for us, you know, Krishna, Radharani, Lalita, Rupa, under Rupa, you know, that's the particular. So that's like, you know, 4 times removed. You know, that's the particular point that our gurus have identified. You know, this is where your highest wealth can be attained. You know, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's you know, it's described how Raghunath Das Goswami, he came to take shelter of Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri, and Mahaprabhu put him under the care of Swarup Damodar, right? And then at a certain point, Raghunath Das Goswami was feeling a little sad, you know, like I came here, I was expecting to have some direct exchange, you know, receive some direct instructions from you, but I haven't received that. You know, everything was going through Swarup Damodar. And that came to Mahaprabhu's attention, that Raghunath was feeling like that. And Mahaprabhu told him, called for him and told him, you know, I feel under Swarup Damodar not because it's something less, but because actually, you know, Swarup Damodar is more than me. Swarup Damodar knows me better than I know myself, you know. So he can give you more than I can give you. You know? So ultimately, in the line, the Rupa Nuga line, that feeling is there, that the connection with the devotee is higher. You know, and Krishna states that in many places, you know, Mad Bhakta Puja Vyadika. The worship of my devotee is higher than the worship of myself. You know? So connection with the ashray, you know, with the shelter, with the devotee of Krishna, that is ultimately considered to be our greatest wealth. You know? So it's an intricate system, you know, and everything is interconnected. We cannot have one without the other. You know, in this connection, I remember what's the concluding verse of every chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita? Shri Rupa Raghunath Padijar Ash Chaitanya Charitamrita Kohe Krishna Das. You know, aspiring for the lotus feet of Rupa and Raghunath, I am chanting the glories of Mahaprabhu. No. So in service to my gurus, you know, in the connection with my guru, I am remembering the Lord. You know, my service to the Lord is with and through, you know, the connection of my divine guardians. You know. So it's a particular, you know, point of adjustment. Oh, and then you also mentioned here about the Maha Mantra. Yes, well, you know, it is mentioned that the Krishna is in his manifestation of the name, he is more merciful. You know, generally we consider Krishna and his name to be non-different, right? They are equal. They cannot be separated. However, Rupa Goswami has mentioned that there is one difference, and that is that Krishna's name is more merciful than you know, Krishna, his form. And another point in this regard is that, you know, what is the era that we're in, right? We are in Kali Yuga. And what is the Dharma for this age? It is Harinam, right? Harinam Sankirtan. So there is particular potency, particular grace that has been invested in Krishna's name in this particular time. So yes, it is true. But again, that connection with the name, that's also coming through the Vaishnava, isn't it? We're receiving that name from a Vaishnava. Does anyone else want to add anything? Maybe Chinmoy Prabhu or Govindanandini want to add anything to that discussion?
I have one question in connection with this. Because how does the verse Acharya Mam Vijanyam fits here? And also, I don't know if my question can fit here inside this other question, but I don't know, I had this very narrow-minded view. Always, when I heard this verse, I was associating Guru with Krishna, with Narayan. But to which Krishna shall the disciples see the Guru?
The first question I understand. The second one I'm not so sure about. You're saying, wait, can you say again? What was the connection with Narayan?
Like when I heard Acharya Mam Vijayan, it seems like, oh, we need to see the Guru as Krishna, right?
Mm-hmm.
I am the Guru, Acharya Mam Vijayan, and Krishna says, I am the Guru. So which Krishna shall the disciples see the Guru? In my mind, it was Narayan, in Vaikuntha, like Guru, like, and yes, it must be with respect, but I don't know, these days I was thinking, which Krishna?
Okay, well, the first question there was, how do we harmonize the oneness and the difference, Guru and Krishna, essentially? That's what you're asking, right? I think, yeah. Well, I mean, we've heard our Gurudev Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj discuss this point, and he's explains that, and you know all these things already. No doubt you're asking for the benefit of everyone else. And Gurudev has explains that these are different stages of understanding, you know, that the first vision of Guru is Krishna. You know, this is more of a general vision, you know, and you can say, right, Krishna's will is non-different from the will of the Vaishnava. The Vaishnava does not have their own separate desire, you know, that they are one and the same, you know, their mission, their desire, their will is one and the same. Krishna's will, Krishna's potency is acting through, you know, that Vaishnava, you know, so there is a oneness there, you know. But then a finer understanding is that, oh, that, you know, my Guru, he is very dear to my Lord. He is very dear to the Lord. You know, he has his own, you know, individual identity as a servitor of Krishna. You know, so we have that famous verse in the Gaurvashtakam, right? Shakshadaritvena samasta shastra uktastata vyate vashadbi kintu prabhurya priya eva tasya, right? Vande Guru Shri Vindam. Everyone knows that verse, right? So that verse is everything's there, actually, saying that all the scriptures declare that Shakshad Hari, you are non-different. Shakshad Hari, you are non-different from Hari. You know, that is one vision, one stage of understanding. And then Kintu Prabhurya, however, you know, but, you know, I also understand that you are the most beloved of the Lord. You know, you are the most dear to the Lord. You know? So that is a more developed understanding, a finer understanding. And then, of course, within that, there's further development, right? Then there's vision of Guru within Vatsalya Ras. Then there's vision of Guru Madhura Ras. There's further development within that understanding also, So, but I don't know if that's enough. I don't know if that's okay. That's clear.
Yes. Good, wonderful.
Gurudev also mentioned in one place the example of the sun. Like if you're approaching the sun from a distance, you just see this hazy mass of light, right? But when you come in closer, then you will see, finer aspect, finer details, So in the same way, like you could say a more distant view of Guru, like, oh, Krishna himself coming to me, Then when you're zooming in a little more, then you see these finer details, and oh, he is actually most beloved to the Lord. He has his own individual identity as a devotee, as a servitor, a beloved servitor of Krishna. So it's a more refined understanding. And as to which Krishna, Mahaprabhu is only giving Vrindavan Krishna, that his interest is always there. Vrindavan Krishna by the side of Radharani, Sham Sundar, must be only that Krishna. Swayam Bhagavan Krishna. Shama Roop, right? Is that in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there are all these technical terms, right? I think Shama Roop is maybe the term for that original Krishna. So that Krishna.
Didi, I think that also ties into the question, another side question from Leela Madhuri.
Okay.
Kind of in a similar theme.
Okay, let's see here. What about looking at a picture of Shri Radha Krishna? Is that safe or recommended? Do we have the deities to look at, but is that same? Also, sometimes a visual picture may come in the mind's eye. Is that safe? That's a very good question. I'm very happy you brought that up. And again, we're mentioning this point about different stages of understanding. So at one level, we may be encouraged, like Srila Swami Maharaj Prabhupada, he had so many paintings made, right? Because he wanted to inspire the attraction, The paintings, these paintings that have been made by so many Vaishnavas, they're lighting up something, they're igniting something, they're inspiring some attraction. We're being given some idea of the beauty of that world. How beautiful is Krishna? So something's being sparked by that. So we understand, why Srila Swami Maharaj Prabhupada did that. But then what is a more developed, understanding, and we saw with Srila Govinda Maharaj and Srila Sridhar Maharaj, they were cautious about that, because one point that our Gurudev Srila Govinda Maharaj made is that a painting that's coming from a conditioned soul like ourselves, that may be some mental expression. What is the depth of realization in that, practitioner? So what's coming out is their own mental idea, and we saw that Gurudev, he actually did not use paintings. Like he mentioned once that when he was publishing Gaudiya Darshan magazine, if he wanted to depict Krishna, Radharani, he would always use pictures of deities. that's how he would present them, you know. I'm not here like saying this is how we always have to do things, you know. I understand for preaching purposes, and what Srila Swami Maharaj Prabhupada did was for preaching purposes to attract people. For that, you know, different methods may be adopted, but I'm simply stating what is a higher conception for us as individuals to consider, you know. And so Gurudev mentioned that, you know, that he didn't personally, he didn't like to use, you know, paintings, you know, that made by, you know, this person or that person, this practitioner. He preferred to use like a deity who was being a deity that was being worshipped, where the Lord was present. He preferred to use a photograph of that. No. This is one. Your question here brings up a lot of different issues. Actually, I'm addressing one point here. So this is one point. You know, and also another thing is that, you know, sometimes our attraction to paintings, it can be based on some sentimental thing, you know, like, oh, you know, how beautiful is Krishna and how he's sitting with Radharani. You know, these feelings can come from a sentimental place and, you know, emotion or devotion. So we want to be careful about that. So that's one point. Now to go more specifically, I think, to what you're asking here. Yeah, we should be cautious about looking at pictures, because see, what can we actually see, you know, with our eyes, with our material eyes? What can we actually see? You know, whether it's a painting or the deities also, we don't have the vision, you know. So what has been encouraged more by our Guru Varga is the feeling that we want to be seen by them, you know. So that you know, that Srila Saraswati Thakur and our Gurudev, we've heard them mention that, you know, when we go before the deity, we want to pray for them to look at us, you know. We are not going there to objectify the deity see the deity as an object of our vision, but we want to consider the deity is in a superior plane to us, beyond our physical material vision. And so we don't have the capacity to see the true form of the deity. And we therefore we pray that the deity may see us. You know, let us be seen by the deity. And another point that Saraswati Thakur has mentioned, we've heard, is that he specifically mentioned that when we're chanting, we should not look directly at the deity. You know, and he explains that the senses, they are like vultures, you know, and that the senses, they like whatever comes before them, they want to devour, you know, devour as their food. You know? So it turns into a physical experience of the eyes, you know. So it's something. It doesn't mean that we don't look at the deity also. we are cautious, you know. The Lord appears in a deity form to help us in our attraction, to show his beautiful form to us. So there's a reason why he's appearing in a physical form that on one level we can engage with. So we don't completely dismiss that, of course not, but we are cautious in how we approach that deity form, the picture painting form. We are cautious, you know, and primarily we're trying to cultivate that feeling and mood and approach that you are super subjective to me, you know. I'm an object to your vision. I cannot see you. You please see me. And if you wish, you know, you may reveal yourself to me, you know. You may allow me, enable me to perceive you in some way, you know, if that is your grace upon me, you know. So yes, it is something to be cautious about. How does that strike you, Ilamadori?
Good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah. So that
Okay.
that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah, I heard also it once said like that Prabhupada said, if you want to relate to Krishna, see him on a throne in your heart. But perhaps I don't know if that's going way off on some other.
If you want to see Krishna as on a throne in your heart. Oh, well, I mean, maybe I would have to see the context of that, but maybe I would think the feeling there is that, you know, through the relationship of love and affection, that's how we will perceive Krishna.
I think also one of my, I like to use visualization in general, just as a calming technique. And so for me, that's why I have so many questions about pictures.
I see.
Also the idea of seeing Krishna coming into your mind's eye. So
I mean,
how do I replace that? I guess I don't know.
Well,
what's the best thing to...
okay. Well, there's Gurudev, that's safe, to meditate on Gurudev's form. And also things which are connected with Krishna, you know, like even like you see in Mahaprabhu's pastimes, he sees the color blue and he's fainting in ecstasy. Sometimes that happens, you know. He sees a peacock, you know, and, you know, everything's reminding him. So I say, you know, things that are connected, you know, things in Shantaras, you know, those are safer if you want to visualize, you know, cows. Cows are connected with Krishna. Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he mentioned in one place how, you know, here in Navadvip, there are so many things to remind us of Krishna, of Mahaprabhu. And then he said, like, I think did he say coconut trees or palm trees? I think he said coconut trees, you know, like that was reminding him of Mahaprabhu, like seeing the natural environment, seeing the Ganga, you know. It doesn't have to directly go to that form, you know, but so many things they can remind us. You know, Jamuna, you know, Ganga, peacocks, cows. I don't know. This is a discussion. This is something we can work out. Maybe we can have a group session on this.
We can all have a group visualization of cows. No,
I mean,
cows are nice.
I'll tell you for myself, you know, like Navadvip, the temple domes, you know, Gurudev, you know, Gurudev's room, you know, these things, you know, they being in the different areas of the temple, I don't think you've been to Navadvip, have you?
No, I've never been to India.
Yeah, that actually, I have to say, you know, somehow it does make a difference, you know. Everyone who you have to go sometime in the door, you know.
Okay, I'll put it on my #1 travel spot.
Because there is, you know, it is something that I've seen in everyone who's been. There is some special potency there, you know, and it does bring things to life in a particular way, you know, being there in the holy Dham, and of course the situation has changed a little bit, you know, but we can still go and give our dandavat to Gurudev, visit his temple. But in the meantime, you know, we can, SoCal is also, you know, a very special place. Gupta Govardhan, Gurudev spent so much time there. You know, his beloved deities are there. But I don't know, I think this discussion is a work in progress, to be continued. What to replace for visualization?
I definitely have done a lot with the color blue. Yeah.
Okay.
I like that one too.
Okay, you have been there, you've done that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about it more in maybe another time. Maybe one-on-one we can, or if anyone else has suggestions, they're also welcome. But yeah, I mean, maybe someone else wants to share? I mean, like if I'm visualizing, you know, I want to meditate on, you know, Gurudev and, you know, try to recalibrate or resituate, then Gurudev's divine form, our Navadvip temple, you know, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, our Guru Varga, in particular, Srila Sridhar Maharaj and Srila Saraswati Thakur, their divine form, you know, that. You can also meditate on the deities, you know. You can also meditate on the deities, but with a particular vision, like, please see me, right? It's an adjustment, right? It's not that you can't meditate on the deities, but with a particular angle of vision. Gurudev, he actually, I have to, maybe you'll see if maybe I can share the link right now. There was Gurudev shared his personal morning meditation once, you know, when he was in Italy. And he described how in Navadvip, he had like an altar in his room, and in Calcutta also. No, maybe this was I can't remember if it was Calcutta or Navadvip, but he said when I wake up, I meditate on, like there a picture of Srila Sridhar Maharaj. I remember there was a picture of Hanuman, and I can't remember everything he said, you know, shame on me. But he said, now then anywhere he is in the world, when he wakes up, first thing, he meditates on that altar, you know. Let me see, I can find it right now. It's on the Gaudiya Darshan website. Oh, here it is. It was the last thing article we published there. I'll share the link here in our chat. Yeah, like your altar. I mean, I find it so like if you just stand before the altar, like even if you just have pictures, you know, it's so powerful, you know, standing, like we have a little altar here with the picture of the Navadvip deities and our Guru Varga, and there's a picture of Navadvip, and it's so powerful just to stand for a few minutes, you know, to sit for a few minutes in front of that. It's actually so powerful, you know, just meditating on the altar, you know. That's very powerful. But I think we've worked out an answer here. Does anyone want to add, Chinmoy Prabhu?
Well, I don't know if it's the same audio that you heard from Srila Sridhar Maharaj, where he's discussing this subject. And he mentions how Srila Prabhupada wrote Bhagavad Gita as it is. Like he wanted to give what the Bhagavad Gita was. And then he started to mention also that we want to see Mahaprabhu as he is, Krishna as he is, and that will be revealed to us. That type of vision, that true vision of Krishna, that will be revealed to us. So I think if we have that in mind, like that is necessary to have that type of consciousness. What we're seeing with our eyes is not the actual vision of Krishna, Vrindavan, etc.
Oh, that's so wonderful. I haven't heard that talk.
Oh.
That's wonderful. Very nice. Yeah, maybe we can see that, we can get that reference. That's beautiful. That's very, very nice. Very helpful.
Well, it's strange because that's where he also mentions the mind and the senses. They will cling on to things like vultures at a cremation ground.
Yeah, I haven't actually heard. I heard that from Goswami Maharaj, but I never heard directly the talk. Okay, so that's where you heard it. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'd love to, if you have a chance, if it's easy, if you can send me the date, just the date, I would love to hear that. That would be very nice. That's a good one to share too. We could make an article with that.
Yeah, it's very nice because it also mentions another in the beginning. You were talking about something, and I can't remember what it was now, but he's discussing that as well. I think it has to do with Mirabai. And that was it, Mirabai, and she was serving Krishna directly, and he rejected that because Krishna, as you said, like a king, he has all his paraphernalia. That is worshipable for us. We need to include all of that when we are seeing Krishna.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful, nice. Does anyone else want to share anything in this connection? And we have others have also been joining us. Bhagavan Prabhu, Venezuela, Krishna Mohini Didi in Spain. We have Bhakta Jim, Jayananda Prabhu, Somya Sham Prabhu. We have Robert also joined us. Seva Rupa, Devi Dasi in South Africa has also joined us. And we have also Nahush Joshi, who I think is with us for the first time. Do you want to introduce yourself, Nahush? Oh, you're muted.
Oh, yes, yes, my name is Nahush. Yes, I think you can hear me now.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I think it's the second time I've joined. I just joined at the end and just listening in. I am an engineer in Michigan, go to the Detroit ISKCON Temple, and it's nice here. And then, happy to participate with devotees, anytime I get any chance I get. I hope I can continue this. Just, a little bit worried because I remember reading in a class about, happiness, distress, dualities of the material world, and how we should be fixed in our Krishna consciousness. But, a lot of times the dualities can sway us this way or other, and we forget Krishna in the process. So, yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hi, beautiful. Well, thank you so much for sharing, Nahush, and thanking us. And thanks to Chintamani for inviting you. You're a friend of Chintamani, we see. Wonderful. and Detroit ISKCON Temple. Our Gurudev Srila Govinda Maharaj, he actually gave a talk there would have been in the early 90s. They were particularly respectful to our Gurudev. So very nice. All right. Well, our time flies when you're having fun. Our hour is almost up now. Any last comments from anyone? Or
I just like my appreciation because these are such fine topics. Like we see like the sun, the effulgence, but Srila Sridhar Maharaj and Srila Govinda Maharaj, and you were expressing very nicely the finer points of this conception, and it's really wonderful to hear.
Oh. Well, Chinmoy Prabhu, you're very qualified yourself. Actually, when I'm speaking, I always look at your face because I want to see your reaction. I'm checking, like, you're okay with what I'm saying?
It's actually very funny because I have things in my mind and you always touch on them. It's really weird. It's like, I was.
It's funny, that's happened many times. There's that talk. I haven't even heard that talk, and you're recently hearing it. That's happened many times. It's very funny. Oh, well, it's really an honor for me to be a part of this group, and you're engaging me. I'm honored and I'm really grateful. Keeping me alive. So my gratitude to all of you, and especially Chinmoy Prabhu for hosting this and leading this so nicely. All right, well, we will close there for this week and look forward to next Tuesday's meeting.
And Tugarasi Didi will be prepared for her question.
Oh, that's right.
I will try. Follow your instructions, Prabhu.
Jai Shri Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai, Shri Bhakti Raksha Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai, Shri Dasi Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada ki Jai, Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai, Jai Chinmoy Dev Prabhu ki Jai, all these assembled devotees ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai, Jai Gaur Premanande.
Hari Bol, Hari
Jai
Bol.
Vishakha Devi Dasi ki
Jai.
Jai.
Jai. Hare Krishna.